starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Well, we had to skip another day. Thought it was almost there, not quite there, and then we're there. So good to be back streaming. We're going to check out the markets. Obviously, with the Iranian war on right now, we're going to be looking where the stocks went to, where crypto is at the moment, where it might be going. We're going to hear from Tom Lee, of course, from Bitmine Immersion. The number one DAT or digital asset treasury on Ethereum and his view. We're also going to have a look at obviously Pulsechain looking green today, which is really cool, and the RSI looking very friendly for the bottom is in on that. And so we're going to talk about that. We've got obviously the Greys are kicking it into gear. First month of referrals and moving in the second month, so we're going to check that out. Seems to be a successful move and maybe at the right time of the market too. So we're going to talk about that as well as LibertySwap will continue to roll out their alpha projects on Pulsechain, the frontier of privacy and trading. And then we're going to have a quick check-in on the monster thread. Number 43 is out, of course, with all the hottest weekly news from Pulsechain over the last week. So I'm going to check that out too. So we've got quite a bit to talk about. Before we do that, though, don't forget to subscribe on the way in. And definitely hit the follow button on X as well. So smash it out. We're only 40 followers on X away from 1,500. As you guys know, I've had to rebuild that channel from scratch. So I appreciate all the support there. All right, let's see how we're going. Let's jump into the stock market and kick it into gear from there. So let's see how that's going. So at the moment, we've got stocks fall, apparently, as energy price jump ignites inflation fears. Well, I'm not too worried about all that. That's very short-term, sensational headlines for the time. Obviously, if we had a sustained issue around that, would be an issue, but not in the short term. So we've got the Dow Jones down 0.83%. So that's down 403 points to 48,500. Remember, Dow Jones got a lot of the industrials in it, key ones like that. S&P 500 is down almost 1%, 65 points to 6,816. The NASDAQ, with all the tech companies in it, is down 1% at 232 points at 22,516. And so if we look at the last week on the charts, we can just see that obviously the last 2 days there, the Monday and the Tuesday, are down. So that's kind of where we are right now. So we're down about 1,000, just over 1,000 points on the Dow. And the S&P 500 didn't do too bad yesterday, so it's only really down today. And then the NASDAQ as well has been down most of the last week. Was peaked up at around 23,100, is now down at 22.5, so it's down about 600, just over 600 points on that at the moment. So actually holding up pretty well. The VIX is at 23. And some people, think that could spike up to possibly 30 or 40 before we finish this, this sort of pullback. But actually, it's not looking too bad. US dollar at 99, so a bit stronger there than we've seen. We've seen the US dollar about 97, 98, haven't we? So that is definitely looking stronger. Moving to commodities, we've got West Texas at the moment is at $75. That's up 1%. And if we look at that over the last week, then obviously that's driven up from 66 to 75. So it's a pretty big move in the last week. So that's about $10. Brent oil is also up to $82. So that's up about $11 on the Brent oil. So $10, $11 on the oil move with this Iran war. Now moving to gold. Gold's pretty flat today, 5,125. That actually peaked out on Monday at 5,400. So that's actually down about $300. And we've got silver is at $82.80 there as well. And that was up at $95 at the beginning of Monday. So that's down quite a bit too. So that's down to about $13. So pretty volatile with the old gold and silver there. So that's kind of some of the key things there. Probably the biggest thing is the Strait of Hormuz, which is where all the oil goes through. Particularly that the biggest user of that, funny enough, is Iran itself. They were wanting to close it, but America has decided to keep that open. That's the key one there, right? That the oil flows and trade flows, and US has looked to guarantee ships going through. So that, in other words, will be chaperoning a lot of ships there through the Strait of Hormuz. Obviously, they've already taken out the Iranian Navy, but they do have to worry about small ships, right? Small ships and drones. So that's keeps them busy there. But that, as long as the market's staying open through the Strait of Hormuz, that's the key thing that we're looking forward to. The other big thing, of course, is Iran trying to drag in, attacking all sorts of civilian things and random things like that to pull in make the war a regional war and to make it more unsettled. So they're trying that strategy on. So there's definitely tempting a few countries to do that. UAE, Saudi Arabia, things like that, to come in on the fray. But I think ultimately that would probably just end up, depending on how it lasted, end up closing the war up even faster. So that's kind of where we are right now. Obviously, the United States is going to do the big stuff. Apparently, big stuff's coming, so more big bombers possibly. But essentially, going to be running around after all those missiles. I think there's still about 1,700 each of the long range ones, so they're going to be running around trying to hunt down those. Obviously, there's quite a few still underneath these underground bunkers, probably still. But a bit of a cat and mouse game there for the fighter jets to go all day long, chasing down these long range rockets. So that's kind of the play there. In addition, of course, they've taken out pretty much all the high command. And in fact, they were voting for some new supreme leader, and then they bombed that too. Even voting for the new supreme leader isn't a very safe job. So that's kind of where we are with that. So far, I think it's going pretty well for the United States, with a few little setbacks here and there. Obviously, we saw the thing about closing down the trade with Spain as well out there. So, there's a few variables there that are never within the control of the dominant force. So that's kind of where we are right now with the old stock markets. Let's jump over to the crypto and see how crypto's holding up. Well, crypto's holding up pretty good. In fact, we wouldn't expect crypto to do too badly in this context anyway. Normally wars, obviously retail gets a bit scared, but actually normally a pretty good time to buy, unless of course you're on the losing side. But probably on the winning side here quite easily. And here we got Bitcoin at the moment at 68,300, down 0.8%. We've got Ethereum down 2.2% at $1,982. So obviously that battleground around 2,000 is still going between, I guess, about we have been as low as about 1820, but as high as maybe 2100 something. But at the moment we're sitting at 1982 on Ethereum, down 2.2%. BNB at the moment is down 0.6% at $633. XRP down 2.2% at $1.36. Number 7 is Solana, and that seems to have the wildest moves, doesn't it? Up and down. Up 0.6% at $87.14. Tron at the moment down 1% at 28 cents, and then Figure Alec up 0.2% at $1.03, and Doge at number 10 down 3.7% at 9 cents. So those are our top 10. Best performer is Solana, up 0.6% for the 24-hour. 7 days, Solana is still the best, up 11%. So, you're actually doing pretty well, Solana, during this war period, because you're still up 11%. So not bad there. And that's BNB up 8.4%. Ethereum up 6.9% for the week. So there we go. Not too bad. Top 100. Let's have a look at top 100 performers in the last week. Near Protocol up 40%. Jupiter up 24.7%. Polkadot they're up 23%. Aptos up 22%. And finally, Virtuals up 20%. Those are top 5 in the top 100 right now. So you can't cry too much about that. It's not bad. Not bad gains there. Especially during a war, in fact, taking out the big terrorist state. They ran the big terrorist state of the world outside of, I guess, maybe Afghanistan and Pakistan. So not bad there. We got Fala there, the Greys, and Xbit there. They're all doing the top 1,000. And then trending overall, we've got Power Protocol, Pudgy Penguins, which is often in there, and GMX as well, are trending overall. So total market cap 2.4 trillion, down 0.8%. And when this re-rates, it's going to be glorious, truly glorious when the crypto market has its run, because that market cap is very small, especially compared to gold after it's had its huge run. So massive upside there. Now let's hear from Tom Lee, of course. We got DJ and Hex in the house there, 5555, absolutely. Max Hex stakes, that's the way you go. 15.2 years. So we've seen a few of those over a period of time, haven't we? Let's jump into the BitMine immersion. And of course, BitMine immersion is taking a position to take over the new monetary system, right? So this is what we're expecting to happen, especially once the Clarity Act opens up. We're expecting a shift in the monetary system to be quite aggressive within a two-year period. So keep a lookout for that regulation. It's going to be pretty awesome. I tend to think it's going to be a little bit delayed as well. So probably looking more like 1 to 3 years in that transition, because you need the Clarity Act and then you need the acts to actually take place, right? So obviously we've got the Genius Act. We're expecting regulations in July and then a full enforcement there by January 27, right? So that's the stablecoin boom. We're expecting trillions of dollars of stablecoins. We've already seen it start to happen with USD1, Circle and Tether, etc. And of course, Ethereum is the chosen one, right? The chosen one for that. So that's going to be pretty huge. Extremely profitable business, which is why we've seen the banks clash a bit with the crypto market around yield, right? Yield's the battle. And of course, crypto market likes to offer some pretty good yield. Banks don't like to offer much yield at all. They just like to take, right? Then they love to make all the money and give the retail depositors a very small amount while they're living it big. And having experience with that, it's not much fun for everybody else. We got Brendan in the house there. Howdy super. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, feeling a bit better today, Brendan, and managed to go for a walk this morning, which is a great thing to do. So it was very nice and sunny here in Australia. So yeah, not bad. All right, so let's hear from Tom Lee and his perspective on where the market is right now.
Yeah, I think the headlines have been scary. No one wants to see the U.S. in a conflict, but I think it's been spot on to note that markets have been taking this much better than expected. I don't think anyone can say we're bottomed yet, but this is what looks like the makings of a bottom, right? That you get bad news and the markets are taking it in stride. And more importantly, I think we've had a position reset. And so on the other side of this, I think is going to be a lot of opportunity.
What would give you the confidence to say, you know what, that's a sign of a bottom? What do you need to see?
Well, some things like if we go back to April, a simple thing would be the VIX making a spike to over 40. Last year was 80, but we won't get to 80. And then, of course, retracing. That would be a clean sign because that's so much de-risking. Another sign would be we get another scary headline and gold continues to sell off, and then stocks actually turn green on the day, because that means we've washed things out. I think we're pretty close.
All right, so that's Tom Lee, a perspective that we're getting pretty close to that bottom. Obviously, timing the bottom, even for experts like Tom Lee, is difficult, but there are a few little indicators and clues there that we could look for. So we'll keep abreast of that. And that assumes, of course, the Iranian war doesn't last too much, too more than, let's say a month, things like that. So there's a few variables there. All right, so let's check out on Pulsechain and see where Pulsechain's at. Well, Pulsechain is actually doing pretty well. It's nice to see. Nice to be able to say that with the turmoil. Normally, Pulsechain's down, but we've got green markets, which is pretty nice. So Pulsechain there up 3.4%. So still at 5 zeros though. I must note 939. So 5 zeros 939 for the old Pulse, sitting below 1/10 of the mean sacrifice price. So no changes there. Now we are on day 1020. What's it? 26, I think it is. If I'm right, I don't think it's an 826. We got Pulse at the moment at 50672, up 3.325%, let's say. And then we've got the buy and burn sitting at 8.61%. Incentive token at the moment 40 cents, 40.5 cents, up 4.5%. And we got Hex on Pulsechain up 4.4%. So it's the second best performer so far, the Richard Hart core coins. and that's sitting at 1.7 cents. Oh, sorry, 17. So I'm rephrase that. 1700th of a penny. It's a lot different. 10x there. We got EHEX at the moment at 00066. So you can pick up so much EHEX right now. That's crazy. 00066 right now on EHEX. Combined price EX and PX sitting at just below 2400th of a penny. So just a little bit under a quarter of a cent, I guess. So that's the markets at the moment for Richard Core. So at least they're green. The gas prices, 700,000 beats. So it's probably 2 or 3 times higher than normal. We're sitting at 2/10 of a penny though, with price down. Validators, 53,367. Like I say, pretty cheap to get a validator right now. 32 million pulse, what you need, which I think is less than $300. And it is not that profitable at the moment. So, community service, stand up and represent. However, we get a turnaround in the old Pulsechain. It can all turn around once you accumulate all those pulse volumes and just sit on them. Bridge at the moment, $69,600 based on GoPulse numbers. This will probably be a bit different from some of the other sites that track stables as well. I don't know. They all have their own little counting differences, I guess, the way they've set them up. But just under 70 mil right now. USDC sitting at 15.6 million. Apparently Coast has hit 15, so I'm not sure who's when that jumped up, but I thought Coast had stopped its bridging of funds. 14.7 million DAI, 5,000, just under 5,700 ETH, and then we've got 4.8 million USD Tether there as well. So those are our main bridged in stables, and then of course we have our liquidity forks, and we've got 4 of those. I think we're going to have 6 or 7 by the time we're all said and done once Vault 369 and Coinwell launch, right? That's kind of what we're expecting there. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in that space on the old Coinwell, but presumably that is still a go, and they were just waiting for the market to turn around and get the sentiment back, right? Everyone was after that sentiment before launches. So that is the old GoPulse. Let's jump over to the Pulse chart. Is the bottom in? Well, assuming Armageddon and World War III, which I don't see happening, then this looking very positive here on the weekly on Pulsechain. We just come off last week with the RSI sitting down on oversold. So the RSI on the weekly got to the oversold territory, and we were down at about 29 or so. We've just bounced back up to 31. So it doesn't mean we can't dip back down again, but a very good chance, I think, that last week was the low. We can see that the RSI there does line up with our lows that we've got here. So the lows back here pretty close, not perfect on every count, but pretty close there on the lows. So very good chance that possibly that low that we had last week, which was 7,800, right? So 7,800 on the old Pulse. We're now at 5 9,400 on there as well. So we kind of had a nice little bounce there, and we're up about 21% on the list there. So that's kind of cool. Excuse me. And up about 21% off the bottom. Let's have a look at the daily. You can see the daily there. We have got some moving averages. First of all, our moving averages on Pulsechain, we've got these big long down lines, right? There's no crossovers, no indicators, only RSI here. I did see, if you use the MACD, I think there was a positive crossover on the MACD for the first time yesterday. I haven't got that on here, probably should. This is a good indicator. And here we are. We're on the daily. We do have a bit of an upturn on the 9-day. So we get that crossing over the turquoise line, which is the 21-day. Then we got a very positive crossover there. So kind of cool on the RSI there. So we're looking forward to that crossover coming up with the 9-day over the 21-day there. That's a positive short-term sign, in addition to the RSI that we had, and I think the MACD also, which I'll add that back in for tomorrow, and we can cover that. And onwards to 100% there, onwards to 100%. So that's the Pulse there, looking pretty good. So I think it's a good chance we might lose another zero, barring any negative setback in Iran around oil or something like that. But that's kind of the main thing. As long as that straight Hormuz is open, it's going to be in the regional stuff is contained, then it's going to be pretty positive for the markets, I think. Pretty positives there. It doesn't seem like any, if you know Axis and Allies, the World War II kind of terminology, Well, it doesn't seem to be any Axis powers coming to Iran's help at this stage. I don't think that would be a good move for some of those. And we're talking, Russia's already in the mire in the Ukraine. So that would leave China, right? All roads lead to China, they say. And of course, that's really the only superpower out there able to challenge America, at least on a regional basis. So we're talking about, the South China Sea area. All right, we got PTGC on there. Thanks for covering the new PTC referral program. It's already causing a lot of new buyers to join the PTC and UFO ecosystem. It's already caused prices to explode over the last month. Yeah, we're going to covering that today, PTGC Maxi, and great initiative there by the community. Obviously, PTGC is one of Pulsechain's biggest communities, and good innovations happening there. And I'm a big fan of Prairie Banana. Of course, he always comes out and drops the alpha for that community. So big shout out to him again, as always. We got Fast Abdul in the house there. I'm here for the tech. Hey, always good to see Fast Abdul in the house. Looking forward to 369. Love to be talking about that too. That's, I guess, waiting for the markets to turn. Smart move there from the founders there. Brennan in the house says China has been relatively quiet through this war, which is somewhat worrying. What do you think? I actually think it's a good thing. China doesn't really have they are the loser in this, in the sense of one of their large countries that they like to use to check the West, as it were. But actually, I think that they're probably better off not doing anything, and they have their own troubles in China as well. There has been purges of military generals and things like that going on, so they've probably got enough problems at this stage. Is the way I probably think that's playing out. But they won't probably be too happy losing one of their scary blockers, as I would call it. But we'll see. See what happens there. All right, let's jump over to the Pulsechain markets. At the top there, where this is the default view for Deck Screener. Obviously not financial advice, do your own due diligence. We're just going through what's trending right now. We got Smorg at the top there, 19 days, up 103%. So that is on the move there. We got Pepe, been around for well over a year. That's up 70%. That is doing pretty well. And then we have PTC. So the first DAO token on Pulsechain is the Grays currency, and that is doing very well. So up 26%. And as PTC Maxi says, they have this wonderful referral program on that's been super successful. So let's jump into that a little bit and see where this is all heading. All right. So we had some good stuff going on there, and not only are they turning over referral, but they're turning over volume. And of course, as you guys know, the Grays has a 5% buy and sell tax. So this is generating, I guess, treasury and buy and burns and all that sort of value. So it's actually, a win across the board for value capture there. And of course, they finished their February. Their first month was February for referrals, and they paid out a lot of referrals there. I think we covered that yesterday. So very cool stuff. And of course, they've got plenty to talk about in the chart there, right? So even 10 hours ago, this is a burn calculator. Today we have bought and burned $2,700. We stay at this rate for an entire year. That's $1 million yearly. Personally, I feel that's easy. I would love for us to get this increased by 10x in the future. Now, the other thing, of course, there are some large holders and large players that hold these tokens. So, the more diamond hands they are, the better off the protocol will be also. People are going to make this, pretty much a blue chip, which definitely has potential to do that, right? It has potential. Awesome 24-hour KPIs, price up 21%, volume up at 175K. Holders have increased by 25. So all the metrics going the right way. That's what you want to see. So it's pretty cool. Awesome 7-day KPIs, value generated 22,000, bought and burned 12,000 overall so far. So, these are the sort of metrics you want to see. Very cool stuff there from PTC the Grays. Let's have a look here. I think they had, there's Prairie Banana there. You can see the kind of their number one consistent influencer. Obviously, other people are involved with this. I believe B Roots and, Einish and others. So they've got their own, community, just like PDI does, has their own influencer and supporters. But of course, I think the PTC is a much superior project and quality project, but it's ticking away there. So yeah, pretty cool. I think they had a new website up as well. Let me just go and find that. They've also got UFO, right? So they've got the secondary token UFO, and that's also got some similar tokenomics, some slight differences, and that's ticking away as well. You got Ian Heinisch there. You don't own enough PTGC, so you've got big long-term supporters. Now I think they have to show. So if they've got large bags, they have to show a sense of maturity there, and treat it more like an income generation project as opposed to a capital bump and dump. So you're taking on those things, but other than that, it's doing pretty well, isn't it? So February is over. Let's see what we can do in March. So March referral program is on. And so they're ticking away there now. I thought we had a website here. I was just trying to find it. A new website. I tried to find this not yesterday, but the day before, didn't I? And I couldn't find it, but I did see it posted over the last 24 hours. Excuse me. And so you can go and find it. Something to pull it up. But there's a problem with projects. They should, when they do post, they should have the referral link on just about every page that's on the site. So just remember that if you're out in the PTC community, they should have these basic links on every post, even if it's at the bottom, so that people can connect up. It makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, you're hunting around. So yeah, that is the play at the moment on the old PTC. So they're doing a great job. We'll try and pull it up on another one there, but that is there. So get your referral codes. I guess go and find the links there and get going. You have to connect your wallet up, I believe, and go for gold there. All right. So that is PTC the Grays up 25-26%, doing pretty well. So if you're in that project, you've been there for a long time. It went down. It certainly went down a lot. Let's have a look at the chart overall and let's see where that is sitting up. So that's the chart there over the last few days. So you can see it's up, and up, away. But probably the more interesting one is the pulse ratio. And you can see that is really moving up. Look at that. Woohoo! So up to 14.6 now on the old pulse ratio. And that started off down the bottom here at about 7.15. So that's a 2x there in the old ratio there. So looking pretty good. So power to the Dow people, as they say. We got Pump Tires Die. That's up at 24%. We got Pump Tires Hex up at almost 20%. And that's relatively good volume actually. This is the total volume. UFO, of course, is the child of PTC the Grays, and that's up 15.5% as well. So it's doing well. SCADA at number 14 is up 15%. That is the related to the supply project, which is a very sort of niche, innovative tokenomics on Pulsechain. So nice to see that up 15% as well. Liquid Loans, one of the powerhouses of liquidity forks, is up 14%. And of course, $50 million was sacrificed in that project. But there's only I don't know, maybe I don't know how many pairs there are for Liquid Loans, but the main pair's got 43K in it. So yeah, we'll see what happens to that in the future. There. What else there? We're going to scroll down. We've got Firewall up 13% there. Most Wanted up 12%. Stacks up 13% as well. Source on a mini meal supposed to go to Solana chain. That's still around. 5.7 cents, up 9% there as well. Pump Tires, the official one, up 8% there. Unity from Cryptographics is up 7.6%. Teddy Bear from James and Maria is up 5.9%, along with the Richard Hart Hex coins on Pulsechain, all up around 5.7%. So they're kind of the best performer there. We've got Curve coming in at number 34, up 5.7%. X Game number up 5.4% there. So still a little bit of life in the old Fire Whale coins. We got the Whale Bay there up 38% as well. Solid X at 24 cents, up 5%. So those are our top over 5%. How many have we got? About 40 out of the top 100 over 5%. So nice little green day on the old Pulsechain. We got PCock down here, of course, sitting just below 18 cents. We'll have a quick look at one of those. We've got PCock down here. We're going to have a look at them in a second. We've got Vouch down here, our biggest validator, 2.8%. What else is down here? Let's have a look at a few others. 9mm, our second biggest DEX. We only really got two main DEXs, 9mm here, but a little bit. I'm expecting a big re-rate in that once Pulsechain really starts to kick into gear. Maybe the RSI signaling where all-time low was in last week. Then this is going to shine at some stage. So keep a lookout for the old DEX then. They keep paying out about 20K, I think it is a month. Coin Mafia from Rack and Michelle up 43%. I know there's been a few management changes at the old Mafia / Coinwell / Coinaki. We're waiting for the last two to launch, of course, and then 2 other sites as well, I think, or at least one other site. So that is Coin Mafia. Top Hats from Crypto Coffee, pretty much down at the moment. 81, number 81 is red actually. And then we got a couple of OG Web Chefs Dominance, World's Greatest Pedo Printer, which was the same as about 2 days ago, right? They were down as well. True Farm holding up here quite nicely, 95 cents. So a pretty much a fork of Emmett Farms, and they have a great collab between True 2X and Emmett. Pretty much leadership in the farms on Pulsechain. Although we do have some other very innovative farms like Nexion out there as well. So, it's kind of cool. We probably should do some more coverage of that, things like Axel and Vox and things like that. Probably do a bit more fulsome cover of some of the DeFi / yield farm protocols on Pulsechain. See how they're getting on with volumes and so forth, especially as Pulsechain, hopefully it has reached its all-time low last week. And that'd be pretty cool. So there we go, 95 cents, holding up pretty well as the old True Farm. Let's look at the pulse ratio. Sitting at 101,000 pulse per True Farm, so ticking away there. Not bad. The volume's 3.5K. You want to keep your volumes up, right? If you've got a reflection tax, then you want, you got a 5% tax here. You want to keep those volumes ticking along as well, particularly for the EDI yields. What else? P Tiger down here with the old crypto Tiger God up 4.8%, or down, sorry, 4.8%. My bad. Then we got a OG Web Chef again, the grandparent for investor down at $1.53, down 21%. Missile down here as well. So yeah, all the OG Web Chefs down here with a few friends as we would say. So it's kind of the play on the overall. So overall, we got some nice little moves there on PTC the Grey. It's a more blue chip type of protocol along with UFO. Saw some mini meal looking pretty good. Yep, keep a lookout for Unity. That's doing pretty well, I think. Still think against Pulsex. And what else? Richard Hart Cool Coins moving there as well. Let's break it down and have a little look at LibertySwap. Obviously, LibertySwap's got some pretty big rollouts this week. First week between the 28th, I think, and the 7th of March, I think it was. So we're looking forward to the grand event, are we? With what is it? LibertyX. LibertyX. So yeah, they're doing some pretty cool things. Let's have a look here. Brennan says, I've heard some so-called experts say the US has burnt through 7 years of intermission already. Find that hard to believe. Well, the one thing I would say is that it's about expensive missiles versus cheap drones and rockets that they're blowing out, right? So there's a cost there. But they're probably, based on generals that I've been listening to, probably at least got 4 to 4 weeks worth of rockets. So, that's why they're hitting them real hard every day. So, but it's not so much the offensive rockets. It's probably more they could probably last even longer, but it's the defensive rockets, right? Defensive rockets that are probably the biggest issue there. But once to say, if they take out enough of their stuff, they're just hunting these sort of rockets that they're running around. Now, the supersonics are, of course, the ones that are after the most. They're the ones that they find almost impossible to shoot down a lot of the time. All right, so we got Crypto MVS in house there. Cover the PTC 3 book winners on Prairie Bananas top referral giveaway. Nice one. Yeah, I think we covered I don't know if I covered Prairie Banana, but we definitely covered the PTC just earlier, the MVS. So big shout out there. MVS, of course, is the editor-in-chief of the Monster Thread and the promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show. So big welcome to the show there, MVS. Thanks for that, Brennan. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I listened to a general talk about it earlier this morning, actually, Brennan. So good topic, though. It's a good topic. All right, let's jump into LibertySwap. LibertySwap, of course, delivering Pulsechain's frontier system. I mean, it's more of not just a protocol; it's an ecosystem that they're rolling out on an ecosystem. It's it's pretty impressive, and I think they're really just warming up as they go. So Pretty exciting stuff here. They are. One of the biggest things they're doing is verifying all their contracts and everything. I think they've pretty much done that for the coin market cap. They're trying to get themselves re-rated for PCock, which is their official coin of choice, to get that trading on market cap and not 24-hour volume. 24-hour volume puts them at around about 4,300 rank. But if they move to market cap, that will jump them into the top 1,000 and potentially towards the top 800. And if they do get that, of course, the market's going to like that and probably reprice them again. And so they could move up another 100 spots or 200 spots. Who knows? It depends on how many projects are sitting at different market cap levels on coin market cap. But that's really, really bullish. Obviously, the target is, and that is actually in some ways more bullish than all the frontier, innovative DeFi they're rolling out, which is, amazing. But how markets are, drivers. And so, that's looking very close indeed. So we'll see what happens with coin market with that. You could see a big jump in the old PCock at some stage if that comes through, say next week or so. That's pretty exciting. But in the meantime, LibertySwap is pushing out frontier DeFi, really pushing the, I guess what do you call it, unified liquidity across multi-chain, and being able to buy and sell with privacy. And also not just buy and sell, but lend as well is coming up. So these guys are really doing amazing. We'll keep a lookout for that. But lots of cool things. So let's catch up on some of the stuff that we've seen. So we're going to scroll back down and down here as well. Let's see here. Normally they have a good morning chart. So they have been doing a few of their upgrades already with CCIP, right? So this cross-chain technology. And that's opening up, dozens of chains pretty much. I think it's like 18 chains or something that's opened it up. So it's kind of cool. Let's have a look through some of those. We've got upgrades there going on. Yeah, upgrades going on there. From, what do we got there? Slowly Liberty Shield will evolve. So doing lots of cool things. I'm just trying to see whether they got any specific updates right now on here for today. I can get the last big one there. They still got pinned, which is the USD Tether and DAI alongside USDC and Liberty Shield. So that was a big upgrade. But they have had the CCIP with the USDC upgrade, and we have got, I think, culminating in Liberty X, which is not yet live. So we're looking forward to that. I think we had it on the, let me just scroll back up here one more time. I think we had it on here on the Monster thread. We had a little breakdown here so what do we have here? Liberty X, Polygon bridges live, Liberty X, next generation DEX aggregators primed. So this is what we're looking forward to, right? So it's going to be like a DEX aggregator over DEX aggregator again. So it's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be cross-chain, multi-chain is primed and ready for public launch at any moment. So that's going to be huge, I think. Really, really great. Is it going to be like the Petius for privacy? Kind of a bit like that. Multi-chain though. It's going to be pretty epic. Extra buybacks rolling in this weekend and privacy trading on Pulsechain. Kind of cool. Liquidity pumping in 40 plus chains via CCTP, CCIP integrations. Now we know this is what Jacob's using for a lot of his protocols around on-chain bet and things. So it's really cool. This is massive news for Pulsechain Referral. And it does fulfill that multi-chain world and heading towards some sort of unified liquidity provision as well. As you guys know, liquidity is king, right? Pretty much. It's good to see. Obviously, Pulsechain has been starved of liquidity, but this is a way of opening up liquidity, right? Get access to everybody else's liquidity. You gotta like that. LibertySwap 2.0 delivered. Hooks contracts. Now this hooks very cool because basically they can hook in all sorts of DeFi and create, pretty much vampire everybody else's DeFi to some degree. So hooked contracts, Chainlink, not just on Pulsechain, but multi-chain, right? So pretty awesome stuff. Chainlink CCIP, in other words, they've got they can hook in all sorts of DeFi, and then you add in the Chainlink with the data and the Circle with stablecoins. With the cross-chain, you can go, cross-chain and do it all. We could see some true dominations here. True multi-chain dominance. Pretty true, right? Pretty true. Gasless bridges, of course, offering that. People like that. Stronger liquidity with zero slippage as well. and of course they're moving towards the intent-based trading, right? So that means they can get off a lot of off-chain liquidity as well, and you put out the request for trade, and they'll get the solution for you. Railgun privacy routes uniting everything. UI UX getting polished, so they're obviously always increasing that to make it more user friendly and easier to get on there. Non-custodial, unstoppable, and of course, so what's coming next? More chains routes unlocking this week till March the 7th. LibertySwap 2.0 full rollout momentum. Chainlink near intent integrations. This near intent, of course, is kind of like the heart of where they're heading, and of course, privacy trading explosion. Token asset stocks funds will flow. So obviously they're going to be moving after that into Liberty Lend. So you're going to not only have buying and selling across chain privacy, but and gasless fees, but you're also going to have lending. Big power players can come in, borrow and buy up assets, sell assets, all sort of stuff. And so that's really opening up the full DeFi range. Multi-chain future there. So Pulsechain's best days ahead. And of course, the fees will expand with all that, right? Fees continue to expand, and of course, buy up more PCock. So that's kind of the play there. So, different roads. We've seen PTC the Greys use referrals, and it looks like that's set up real nice. They've done a great job with that to kick it off. LibertySwap, of course, has got utility, right, to drive the value of PCock. So different roads there to success, but it's nice to see two projects that are particularly doing well. We are expecting at least a good half a dozen to a dozen projects to have their own path to value on Pulsechain, and that's what kind of makes them more blue chip type of projects in my view. We're using that term in a loose way, but it's pretty exciting to see these teams value come to the front. Now we get to the bottom of Pulsechain, we have all these wreck coins, coins that didn't deliver their promises or whatever you might want to think about them, and then we come up the other side where we get to ride out the other side, and then we get maybe a dozen projects that actually offer some form of value, either business driven utility or incentive driven, like referral programs and things like that. So that's going to be an interesting combination of that. And of course, I guess we got to include the Richard Cause in there to some degree as well. But they all have positives and negatives. Now we want to see value go to the ones that are not dumpable, right? So extracting value, bad players, and that's kind of the vision that we're starting to see. A few little blues clues, and hopefully the market, is mature enough to build on it, which so far so good at the moment at least. We've got Hexagon in house there, hoping the continuation of rejection from the latest trend line to test low and confirmation of macro trend reversal there from Excavator. Big shout out there. All right, so that's kind of the play there. So yeah, we're expecting LibertyX next generation DEX aggregator to come out with the old privacy solution. So exciting times there for LibertyX. We've still got about 3 or 4 days for that to play out, at least 3 days, I think, for that to play out. So some good stuff happening there, and getting some good coverage there from Somni as well. So cool stuff on the Monster thread. So that leads us up into the Monster threads, which is the hottest weekly news over the last week. Let's have a look at this. We've got Richard's suggestion, Pulsechain on Blockcast, MEXC and OKX articles. So we're starting to get some, decent exchanges talking about the Pulsechain as well. Now, when I say decent, the pros and cons to some of them. Particularly MEXC and stuff, and more alpha there. So yeah, pretty awesome stuff. Join Emmett Farm and True DeFi today for steady EDI returns on single-sided staking and popular farm options. Definitely both of those offering some good options there for people to earn DeFi yield. We got Richard's suggestion. Richard Hart suggests liquidity providers to consider bonding stables directly with PulseX and Hex. Now, this has been an interesting topic, obviously, because we've also seen, this is at the bottom of the market, interesting enough. So is it the right time, or is it just better to just let it run with Pulse? But certainly, I think it certainly stabilizes prices a little bit, moving with the partial stables. Now, people have looked at derivatives, in other words, staking versions, like DAI, for example, with SDAI, SUSDC, etc., things like that. So there's different options people are looking at there. We'll see whether the market actually goes with that or not, or just primarily we'll probably just ride with Pulse, my guess, unless a market maker decides otherwise. We've got Blockcast. Of course, this was just really huge. So it was great getting this at the bottom. People say, people will pick off whatever the bottom was. People will pick off some event for it, right? Say, hey, that was always the bottom. That was always the bottom. But it's fun. It's fun. So we've got Blockcast there, hosted a massive Pulsechain Spaces, co-hosted by 369 and Electronic X, so Extrovert there, getting over 11,000 listeners in the actual live stream, so it's pretty cool, and dozens of community appearances. But I think that's gone up way more. Yeah, 21,100 views on that so far. Isn't that amazing? Almost 12,000 on the actual tuned in at the time. So some really good results there. And Blockcast has got about 55,000 followers. So that's just exactly the sort of thing you want. If assuming we are right about the bottom in last week, then that is very exciting indeed. Very exciting indeed. Now we're assuming, when we say the bottom in, we're assuming geopolitics that it goes in the right direction, right? So when you don't get another black swan event, in other words, just take note of that caveat there. What the Hex, DJ Cryptomatic and Papa B held another epic What the Hex show that included TA time with Toby One. So a nice little bunch of OGs there, and of course DJ Cryptomatic there, always out with the R&B. I love R&B DJ mixes, and he did a big show. I think it was on what was it on? It was on another platform, not like YouTube, but just forget the name of it now. But got huge. He got on page number 1 and got blown up big time on there. So he well deserved for a DJ Cryptomatic. It was Twitch. I think it was Twitch. Yeah, Twitch was pretty huge. It's not that easy, if you're coming from crypto or even DJing. And so that was a really good break opportunity there. So there's the lads there, and they've also got Brandon and who else is in there? Peter as well. So there we go. Pretty cool. LibertySwap updates. Of course, we just covered that a little bit there. Announced Circle CCTP and now officially live on LibertySwap. Enables instant native USDC transfers between Pulsechain and all CCTP supported chains. So yeah, beautiful stuff. Treasury growth service, True DeFi emerged as top hub for protocol treasury yield generation. A strategic reserve engine, which is kind of like the closest thing I think that Pulsechain has to institutional buying now. I'm not sure how active they are on a daily basis, but certainly have played some key roles on Emmett Farm. Strategic reserve engine powers sustainable revenue for a growing number of Pulsechain protocols, delivering market advantage. So I don't know if the True DeFi is watching at the moment. But it'd be great to get the one or two of the team members, maybe Daniel, Neil, somebody like that, on the show and give us an update about where things are at and where things will be going through next. Obviously, they're building out a broader DeFi ecosystem on the back of their miners, their 2x miner product that they have. So so far, looking really good there from a True DeFi. Awesome stuff. Builders weekly meetup. We had Emmett Farm held another founders panel spaces. It's great to see this. So big shout out to Kairos and Emmett Farm. Bring in several founders: Neil, Daniel, Dave, Casey, and many others. GoDex top as well. Great to see them in there as well. They get overlooked a little bit too much sometimes, but they're still building out. So nice to see that. To discuss solutions and opportunities on Pulsechain. Handing out tablets. Suzy Q, of course, been posting tons of pictures of tablet handout promotions over the last month or two. And so we've got some more there from Suzy Q there, and you can sort of see the posters bag here. And they're trying all sorts of different ways of getting those pads out, which I think is kind of cool. Sometimes that can give you the best result. When build up, RH Max went live with Fast Abdul and Hex Stake Play to discuss when the next bull run is. I think we got a little video there, have we? Yeah, a little video there, I think. A little picture at least with RX Max. So ticking away there. It's always good to see some of the key players there. Keeping the community going. MEXC talks Pulsechain, which is pretty cool. So this is really, really exciting. And look, I think we're going to get probably a cascade effect of some of these centralized exchanges listing Pulsechain stuff and doing more promotion, I'm sure, in due course, and all sort of give way to all kind of sudden listings and things like that. Shout out to MEXC for posting about PulseX. So they did an article on their site under their crypto news. PulseX in 2026, the number one Pulsechain DEX for swaps, yield farming, liquidity pools, and PulseX burn, which is pretty cool. So there we go. Really great article there. Can't be too unhappy about that. Pulsechain validator staking. David Fetter, of course, the king of validators. He's about 70% of validators have gone through his hardware store. So pulsechain.com, and he's got a store, validatorstore Valo store, so if you want to get some hardware, is building a new Pulsechain Valo staking launch website. Now, I think that's complete. I think he actually completed that. So I think that might be done now. Let's have a look. It's ready. Yeah, 22 hours ago. It's ready. The new Pulsechain Valo, the staking launchpad, built it from scratch because the official one has weird issues. Now anyone can stake in minutes, super clean, 100% local. So there we go. And you can go to valostore.com, Pulsechain Valo, the staking launchpad, to get access to that. So big shout out to him. Nice one there. So not bad, not bad. All right. I might hit the repost on that, shall we? Let's do that. All right. So that is from David Feder. All right, let me jump back down there. We got artistic masterpiece Woogie. So Mr. Woogie, Mr. Woo, Woogie Gang and DeFi Posting released one of the best crypto music videos ever made. Going down, watch now. Now I haven't actually watched this myself, but I think this is a real strength of Mr. Woo doing these videos. So he does a great job. So we're looking forward to more of those. But yeah, kind of.
If anyone is just not to with that, it's because
So you can go check that out as well, Mr. Wiggy. We got the little picture there, kind of cool. And then we got, of course, Pulsechain Safe. Brazology shared a video of Vitalik speaking of Ethereum's roadmap to become quantum safe. Obviously, a lot of people have been talking about, the quantum safety of crypto. Obviously, in particular, Ethereum, and of course, Pulsechain is a fork of Ethereum, and so any major protection upgrades for that will surely be picked up by Pulsechain as well. People like Breetip are watching very closely. Pulsechain Dev. Good news, Pulsechain is going quantum safe by 2029. And of course, Vitalik there unveils a 4-year roadmap to make it fully quantum resistant by 2029. Now, this is very important too if you think about all the big mega themes with Ethereum becoming the new monetary system. And that's the way you should start thinking about it to some degree. Obviously, we've been seeing a lot of the big banks now moving over to Ethereum. They're doing a number of things that are going to happen very fast. What they do is they do a lot of testing products or just build little examples, and then once they're happy with that and they've got their safety, feeling good about safety, then they start rolling out a bigger percentage of their business, whether it's a debt market or equity market stuff they'll start doing, or even the stock market, right? So the tickers themselves. So we're expecting that to be pretty aggressive. We've heard the SEC chair say that he reckons that could happen within 2 years. So like I say, we'll start off slow and then suddenly roll out really, really fast. The only area that's slow is typically corporates. Like corporates have to change their risk management. Now you get really good ambassadors that are keen, but to get actually boards and CEOs and stuff changing their risk profile for crypto takes a little bit of work. Now that's going to be a lot easier and happen a lot faster once the Clarity Act goes through, because then you have regulation for crypto, so they feel a lot more comfortable about changing their risk profile. And so that's going to be something that takes a bit longer. So that the corporates will be always probably the last ones on. But you've still got a lot of institutions and other things well and before all that. So especially if we see some White House buying strategies happening with Bitcoin and the altcoin stockpile, things like that. So but definitely tokenization and stablecoins boom is on, and so to make it quantum safe, it just gives that that battle tested security that Ethereum's already earned that extra tick of approval. So kind of cool. So that was a neat little thing there. We also had OKX. So we had what do we have with the other one? We had MixC. We also had OKX talking about Pulsechain. So Wildest J shared an article written by OKX. So it was kind of cool. And I think we got Richard Hart's legal battle will likely influence how projects are designed, governments, and regulated. So giving even more kudos to the victory there. And you can see the article there on OKX, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so nice stuff happening on that front. So I'm not sure whether these articles are just organic or whether being paid by somebody, but nevertheless they're on these dexes, so on these centralized exchanges, I should say. Batias burns bright. Batias deflation on Batias keeps accelerating. Now we talked about obviously PTC the Greys, one of our top project teams. Well, obviously Batias is a pretty big project on Pulsechain with the number one aggregator of aggregators, is that same. Deflation on PTS keeps accelerating. 8% of supply has already been burned. and another 8% is sitting in the treasury waiting to be burned. So that was a pretty big news there from PTGC. In fact, they've been quite active with a bit more news in the last week. So it's nice to see stuff happening there with PTGC. Like I say, we want to see the quality projects on Pulsechain do well and the crap ones do badly. You heard it here. You heard it here. I'm probably not the first one to say it, but that's hopefully the Pulsechain community is largely getting sick of crap projects and will therefore put their funds towards the better ones. And so hopefully the better ones are pretty obvious by now. Little Matty on the way. Matty Allen, of course, has done amazing stuff for the community. He's also been part of a few controversial things as well, but he's always going to have a few of those things happen. Little Matty on the way. Matty Allen shared his excitement for having a baby boy due in April, so very exciting there with the old Matty. We got a little baby Matty there. I'm surprised I don't have something like Back to the Future or something like that, or yeah, but very cool. Very excited for Matty with that. So congrats, Matty, and partner there. We got new execution client, which is kind of cool. We got what's it, Aave here, or Aave, shipped the first ever ETH execution client on Pulsechain. So for those technical geeks out there, this is really cool. While shouting out Paradigm for developing an open sourced ETH there. So that's for the people more technically minded around the validating and things. That's kind of cool. Honorable mentions. So we got Mando shares his thoughts on PTC performance since November. Kind of cool. We got Davey369 posted a video explaining why he is fired up about Pulsechain. We got Frank White there dropped a new dashboard. Have a quick look at that. So that's for ProveX. So if you've got ProveX key stats there, it's got total value locked, weekly volume, etc. So it's kind of cool. On that one, and then we got Sandy Beach started March mini push-up challenge with the old fitness there, so big shout out there to Sandy Beach. Good to see those back. Now moving down into some of the leading projects that are on the Pulsechain monster thread, we got Heart with Dog season 2 is incoming. We got True DeFi with the Pulsechain distribution for their miners. We got Emmet Farm with the juicy APRs and the stability, and we got LibertySwap there with the privacy trading. So great to see some alpha projects getting a lot of limelight here in the monster thread. Can't wait for Pulsechain, Pulse of the Fallen season 2. Yes, Pulsechain has its own anime series, which is pretty amazing. We can see some of Crypto Coffee in there, one of the characters of season 2. We got season 1 recap, so you should definitely check that out. Pretty cool. The animation's amazing. I think everyone's loving that. And of course, you can buy a hog. When the hog chart itself, from last time I looked, was doing pretty incredible as well. So definitely worth checking out the old Heart with Dog and Pulse of the Fallen series. I'm not aware of any other crypto major blockchain that has their own anime series. And True DeFi, of course, is kind of emerging as the institutional buyer on Pulsechain. I would love to get the team on to talk about exactly what's going on and when and where, and let's see where we can get some stuff. So we'll see whether we can get Daniel and Neil and some of the others in the team on the show again for an update. We did a pre-launch. Remember that? We did a pre-launch show. It'd be great to get them on for a post-launch. And now they've also got True Farms, right? So not just the miners, but the farm and of course the RSE, basically institutional buying type of thing, inverted commas. So that's in play, and they've been handing out lots of Pulse to their miners, so it's just kind of cool. Ticking away there, the charts are looking pretty good. Emmet Pulse, True Farm Pulse, 118,000. Yeah, I think it's around 101,000 at the moment. So doing pretty well there is the old True DeFi. They've also got one of, I think, a pretty active community too. So, it's building pretty well. People are enjoying it in there. And they constantly got, chats open on Telegram. So pretty cool. Emmet Farm, of course, crushing it with the old yields. And they've had big support in the past from Crypto Paradise. They've obviously got big relationships with just about every major community on Pulsechain, all the big ones that are active, and also with Kairos and Emmet Farm. So lots of cool stuff happening with the old with True DeFi. True DeFi, yeah. So pretty cool stuff there. Part of their biggest innovations have been single-side staking with EDI rewards. So 4% of the 5% tax is going to that. So that's pretty very successful, I think. And of course, then they have a lot of high yields for their other Emmet Farm pools, which are with some of the top projects on Pulsechain. So it's been a pretty successful model for the old farms on Pulsechain. And the chart sort of represents that. And big shout out to Kairos for getting the balance right as well. They also have balancing the emissions, the amount of emissions that come out for the emit token. So seems to be working pretty well. So cool stuff there. Obviously the Crypto Night show in the house, and also LibertySwap there crushing it, bringing on some really good stuff. So big shout out to LibertySwap. Really appreciate them as well. But yeah, I guess we're looking forward to some new projects though. Jacob, of course, working on all his projects. We got On-Chain Bet, we got Mafia, I think, which is almost there. I think I heard a little rumor that Mafia's actually started to pay out some of the treasury here. You let me know in the chat there if it's true. And then, of course, what's the other one? PSD Algo, which we're waiting for, right? The flagship of Jacob. We're looking for that. Fast Abdul, of course, with Vault 369. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be, could be pretty mega. Getting the timing right there could be pretty close. So that could be a lot of fun. And so we've got some more projects coming down the line. I know Stu also is doing, got more projects, of course. We're expecting Signum Oracle, aren't we? Obviously with Tetra. I don't know if it's gone full commercial, but it must be pretty close. I thought it was February it was going commercial, but that's going to be pretty close. We might have Stu on the show. Let's see if we can get Stu on the show. Have been having a few little basic chats with Stu, but it's around Tetra, which is Frontier DeFi stuff you download to your computer, and you can engage with smart contracts in all sorts of fancy ways. But also Signum Oracle coming. That would be our second main Oracle. I know that there is, I think, another team working on Oracle. And then these are public oracles, of course, not internal oracles that some people launch. And what else? So yes, Stu's got that. And then, of course, that would open up PSD Algo, which we're looking forward to. And obviously, the higher the ETH goes, the biggest amount of collateral they have for that model. That model requires collateral like a lot of these stablecoin models. So, we'll keep a track on that too. We'll see whether we get any updates around Coinwell. I'm going to actually probably try and follow up on that too. I know there's been a bit of a change of the guard at the old Coinwell leadership teams, so we'll check up on that too while I've been away. Let us know if you've got any other project team that you think is going to be pretty good launching on Pulsechain. Hit me up on Telegram or Discord. Hit me up on YouTube or on X as well, and I'll have a look at it. I'll take a look as we move forward. What else? We've got Sandy Beach in the house. We just talked about you, Sandy. We just talked about you on the Monster thread. Hey, Superman and everyone, get your push-ups in. Indeed. Yeah, well, I'm going to the gym today. I just signed up to the gym today, Sandy. I just signed up. So hopefully I'm going to be well enough. I'll start off nice and easy and go for gold there. Big hi from Sandy Beach and a 555 and DG and Hexkin. Sandy Beach says, hey, Brennan. Yeah, Brennan's our TA guru. But Brennan himself had a little baby bub, just like Maddie Allen, not too long ago. I'm sure that's been pretty full on, Brennan. We must catch up on that, on your baby raising experience. That's pretty cool. All right, so that is where we're at the moment. Now in 3 minutes, we did pretty well today. So sorry, I wasn't on yesterday because I had a bit of a step back in recovery, but we're getting there. I think I'm sounding not too bad, and managed to go for a walk today, which was really, really refreshing. Getting outside, joined the gym while I was there, and let's see how we go. Got to actually start the workouts at the gym. That's kind of the first thing. Get the right workouts and go for gold. Go for gold, as they say. All right, I think that's kind of it at the moment. Let's go quickly check Richard Hart while we're here, because I haven't looked at Richard Hart for a few days. See what Richard's been up to. Let's see, what's he been talking about? So, he's been posting on America and stuff like that. It's nice to see Richard be active on social media. Let's see, a few things on AIs and scammers. That's kind of what Richard's been up to. So there we go. Brennan says, yes, defiantly catch up soon to chat about that, super. Sounds good, Brennan. All right, and a big thanks to Sandy as well. All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. An hour and 4 minutes. Hopefully get rid of that thing. Hour and 4 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. That was a nice, easy way back again. We're trying to get back to consistently streaming. health. Got to get your health in track. But other than that, the RSI looking good on Pulsechain. Was the bottom in last week at 7,800. We're back up at 9,400 now. We're going to lose a zero this week, maybe tomorrow, next day. Subject to any unforeseen thing. The key thing, I think, on the Iranian thing was the Strait of Hormuz being kept open by the United States, guaranteeing passage and wiping out the Iranian Navy was a big part of that. Obviously, they have to still watch drones and things. We'll see whether the regional creep is kept in check as well. And will the Iranian people rise up to take back their? Probably might take a week or two before that happens. But once enough of the Iranian military that's still proactive is kept in check, then maybe we'll get that revolution that people are looking forward to. You got to remember, over 80% of the Iranian people don't want the mullahs to be running the country, and of course they want freedom, right? So this is their moment, right? This is their moment. It's pretty difficult to take down, as you can see from a regime like this. So this is the moment with America and is leading the way on that. So hopefully over 80% of the population gets back to freedom and returns to a modern, free society like they were back in the 60s. And whole generations have been will get freedom. We'll get freedom. Imagine that. We saw that in Afghanistan. A whole generation of Afghani women were free for 20 years. And they lost that, right? They lost that. And that was a pretty big shock. You can imagine relative freedom. And we're talking about relative freedom, of course, in Afghanistan. And then suddenly, the Taliban taking them back again, taking away their rights again recently. And particularly in the last couple of months, they've taken away more rights. That's not great for people's life. Imagine being shut away all the time like that. And now we see, funny enough, Pakistan and Afghanistan, open war with each other right now. Because that's what they do, right? These regimes. So, hopefully we'll have the Persian people get back to their greatness. Persian people obviously been huge contributors to culture and mathematics and science and things over the millennia. And of course, if they can shed the mullahs, then they can dance on the streets and be free, truly free. All right, stuff like that. We're going to need that in the West too, ironically, which is the ironic part, right? We need that in the West as well. Get rid of our authoritarian rulers. All the best to the Persian people. Yeah, indeed. 100% says Sandy, 100% indeed. All right, okay, I enjoyed it. Catch you guys again tomorrow, and we'll see how their markets evolve. But onwards and upwards from here. Upwards and upwards from here. All right, take care. Bye for now.